Hey guys, I'm Zepherus, and today I'll be telling you how the elements of the periodic table were named, and what those names actually mean. In this three-part video, I'll be going through all 118 of them in one take each, even the few of which don't have names. I'll try my best when I get to those, but first, let's start part 2 with Ruthenium, number 44, named after a faraway land called Ruthenia, the Latin name for Russia, as the element was isolated first from the rivers in the Ural mountain range, which is in Russia. Rhodium, named for the Greek word for a rose, as one of the compounds was rose-coloured. Palladium, named for Pallas, the asteroid, which is in turn named for Pallas Athena, goddess of the wise. Silver comes from the Latin sulfur, yeah, I'm never going to get that pronunciation right, and which kind of looks more like sulfur than silver, but anyway, a word which originally meant refined silver. The Ag symbol, as always, seems to come from Latin for silver, argentum. This is also where Argentina gets its name from. Cadmium, named after calamite, a mineral which, surprise surprise, contains cadmium. Indium, not named after India, it is instead named after the colour indigo, due to its spectral lines. Tin originates as a German word for tin, which is near identical to its present form. However, the SN comes again from Latin for tin, stannum. Antimony comes from the Greek antimonachos, which translates as monk killer, as many monks experimenting with the substance were poisoned. The SB comes from the Latin stibium, a word which most likely has its roots in ancient Egyptian. Tellurium, element 52. Tellurium is named after tellus, a Latin word for the earth. The word tellus also is connected to the Latin word for terra, for land. Iodine, named after the Greek iodes, which means violet. This was most likely due to iodine's purple colour. Xenon, the only element beginning with an X. Xenon comes from the Greek xenos, meaning foreign or stranger. Cesium, spelled with either an AE or an E, I prefer AE. Cesium comes from the Greek for sky blue, of course referring to the element's spectral colours. Barium, this element was named so because of its extraction from barite, a mineral whose name, in turn, comes from the Greek baris, meaning heavy. Lanthanum, the first of the lanthanides, which are the next 15 elements. Element 57, lanthanum, is named for the Greek phrase to lie hidden, lanthanane. This is probably due to the fact that lanthanum lay hidden until around 1839, which is a fairly long time. Cerium is named after the asteroid Ceres. The Dymium twins, praseodymium and neodymium, were both isolated from the same source, dydmium, which is thought to be an element but was actually two. The praseo means green, so the entire name translates as green twin, and neodymium means new. Promethium is the second lightest radioactive element, second to technetium. Promethium is named for Prometheus from Greek mythology. Samarium was named after its parent mineral, samarskite, which in turn was named after the owner of the mine samarskite was first found in. Europium is named after the continent of Europa, surprise surprise. Gadolinium, named after Johann Gadolin, discoverer of yttrium, which we talked about in part 1. Hint hint, click click. This is the first in a long line of elements named after scientists. Terbium, named after Itaby, which may sound familiar as a namesake village of yttrium. Dysprosium, element 66, comes from the Greek dysprotos, which means hard to get at, which of course refers to the element's obscurity in the table and how it seemingly escapes discovery. Named after its parent mineral, holmia, which in turn is named after a Latin name for Stockholm, which the last syllable of Stockholm may give that away. This name was chosen due to Stockholm's proximity to holmium's place of discovery, Itaby. Yeah, wow, seriously. Erbium, also named after Itaby, because hogging the periodic table is apparently a thing. Thulium comes from the Greek word thule, which describes a far, distant, northerly country, most likely Scandinavia. Why was this name chosen? Because it was the location of its discovery in Itaby. I don't know what to say anymore. Erbium. God damn it, it's Itaby again. Lutetium. Not named after Itaby, it instead comes from the Latin name for Paris, Lutetia. Hafnium comes from Hafnia, the Latin name for Copenhagen. Tantalum. Element 73 is named after Tantalus, a character in Greek mythology. Tungsten. A merged version of tung and sten, translating as heavy and stone in Danish, respectively. Rhenium, named after Rhenus, the Latin word for the Rhine River that flows through Germany. This was the last element that wasn't radioactive to be discovered, but not the last one we'll cover. Osmium comes from the Greek osme, meaning a smell, because one of osmium's compounds had a volatile smell to it. Iridium, named after the Latin word iris, which translates as a rainbow. Nice. Platinum comes from the Spanish platina, meaning little silver. Gold. Element 79 comes from Anglo-Saxon word for yellow. The AU, as ever, comes from the Latin for gold, aurum. Mercury, named after Mercury, the messenger god. Thallium. Element 81, thallium is named after the Greek for a green shoot, referencing thallium spectral emissions you can see on the screen. Lead. The name of this element has its origins in Anglo-Saxon, but as ever, the symbol comes from Latin, plumbum. This is where we get the word plumbing from, since pipes used to be made out of lead. That didn't cause any problems. Bismuth. The heaviest and last stable element, well, almost, in the table. Bismuth gets its name from the German Bismutum, which translates as a white substance, which is an obvious reference to bismuth itself. Polonium. Discovered by Marie Curie in 1898, polonium was named after Curie's home country of Poland. Astatine. One of the scariest. Astatine was named for the Greek word for unstable, astatos, which is exactly what astatine is. Radon. Last one, woo. Radon is named for another element, radium, from which radon is a byproduct. Wow, that's a lot of elements, but yet we're only 2/3 of the way through the periodic table when you include part 1. So I'm going to do a half Voldemort and split this video into 3 parts. You've seen part 1, hopefully. This is part 2. Part 3 is coming soon. This is a long one, and I wish I could do it whole, but these 120 names and their meanings have made that near impossible. You can click here to watch parts 1 and 3 when they're uploaded. Part 1's already uploaded, part 3 will be hopefully by the time you see this. And click the subscribe button to support me and my channel. Anyways, I've been Zepherus, and until next time, goodbye.